Today I'm going to be sharing with you the difference between domestic, physical/clerical labor, mental load, and emotional labor. Hi, my name's Zach. I'm your invisible labor coach. I'm here to share with you a handful of the things that is really hard for a lot of people to understand. And first off, why is it important to know these things? I think it's really valuable to understand the difference between these things, because when you can start articulating them better, you can understand why you're feeling overloaded, overwhelmed, and for the men, you're probably better able to understand why your partner is feeling that way. So let's start with domestic, physical, clerical labor. We're going to go through 3 full examples: finances, catch-up, and laundry. So let's start with finances. Finances, the physical aspect of it would be opening up the website if you have to pay for something, typing in your credit card information, maybe setting up the automatic payment, doing the clicking, doing the input of numbers, or sending in checks, putting it in the mail. That's your physical labor. For catch-up, it is physically going into the store, picking it off the shelf, putting it into your cart, bringing it home with you, putting it into the fridge or into the pantry where it goes. And then for laundry, it's the physical aspect of pulling, well, if you're not putting into the laundry basket of dirty things, it's putting into there. It is then bringing it down to the laundry room, putting it into the washer, putting in the detergent, setting it. Once it's done, putting it into the dryer, pulling it out. If you fold it or organize it, however you do that, doing the physical aspect of that, and then putting it away. These things are typically more of the time things. You can see them on camera. If you had a camera in your house or in the grocery store, you should be able to see these things. That's your domestic labor, which is often invisible because we don't have those cameras. We aren't seeing those small things, even small things like refilling the liquid soap that goes in your bathroom. So that is your domestic labor. All right, here's number 2. Here's the mental loads. Hey there, quick request. Could you please hit the subscribe button if you have found value in these first couple minutes? If not, I'm going to ask you again in a couple more. So the mental load is the logical thinking. It's the thinking logistically about how things go. So again, we'll start with finances. It's thinking, okay, this bill needs to get paid on the 7th. And our paychecks don't come into the 8th. So we need to make sure that we have enough money in that account or space on that credit card to be able to pay for those things. That is, for catch-up, it is saying, looking in the fridge, hey, do we have enough? We're having a hot dog hamburger party for the kids on Saturday, and we need to make sure we have enough of this condiment. So checking, looking at it, concerning yourself, okay, we're probably going to need a little bit more, and then throwing it onto the grocery list and making sure you get maybe the right brand that people enjoy or appreciate. If you're a parent, thinking about the sugar contents of it, as there's high fructose corn syrup and a lot of ketchup, and asking yourself, do we want to go 0 sugar? What kind do we want to get? And then we'll go with laundry, is thinking about the timer on it. Hey, am I going to be present or nearby when the timer goes off? Am I going to be out of the house? Do I need to set an alarm for when I come back so that I do it? I have a window of maybe 3 or 4 hours it can sit in the wash before I feel comfortable with it in dryer. So I want to make sure that I'm running the washer in a time period which I can get to it before it has to go to the dryer, where it's not sitting in there for too long. It's once you are pulling it out, okay, if we have kids running around, where can we put this in a place where it's not going to get knocked over? Can I multitask, being with our children at the same time? Or is it going to fall over? Is it going to get messy? Is it going to get back with the dirty laundry? Or asking yourself, okay, if I put it in my kid's room, is he going to put it away? If I put it on my partner's side of the bed, are they just going to end up throwing it on the ground or putting it off to the side, or are they going to put it away? That's your mental load. Those are the things that you're thinking about that are maybe purely logistical. These are very connected with the emotional labor of it, but the emotional labor is the management of emotion. It's the considering of your tone, how your messaging. It's the considering of other people's feelings and emotions around that item. So in this case, what it might look like for finances is, ooh, we're probably going to need to put it onto a different credit card. I don't know if that's full, and I know that whenever I bring this up with my partner, they get kind of annoyed. I should probably bring this up at a time when we're either not upset with each other or at the weekly meeting, which I preach all the time to do, when you're emotionally prepared for it. When it comes to finances, it could be if you don't feel comfortable going to give a check because you're afraid it's going to bounce, or if you feel uncomfortable with using a certain credit card because you know there's a certain interest rate and that weighs heavily on you, and maybe there's shame around any kind of debt that you might be in. Hey there, quick request. Could you please hit the subscribe button if you have found value in these first couple minutes? If not, I'm going to ask you again in a couple more. Emotional labor, again, is the management of emotions, the management of your tone for the other person's emotions. When it comes to ketchup, I know that you're thinking, what emotional labor could possibly exist with ketchup? For this one, I think it would be a super specific example, but let's say you're having this party and you know that your kid is going to have a meltdown if they don't have the right ketchup. So not only making sure that it's on the list, but making sure it gets bought, because that is a high priority item to make sure that they actually be able to enjoy their hot dog on their birthday so that they can have their cake and eat it too. You know what I'm trying to say. And then the third one for laundry is, if there's something that could get wrinkled if it sits in the laundry for too long, and that's their favorite shirt, making sure that it's hung up and in a timely way. If they know that on Friday is they need to wear a certain outfit, maybe it's Spirit Day for the kids, and making sure that they have something green for Spirit Day on Friday, and making sure that it gets into laundry load that further affects how you logistically concern yourself. So a lot of times when you're thinking about the conception, planning, and execution of things, so that's language from the Fair Play book you can see over my shoulder and the method that I'm helping to teach. Conception is a lot of that emotional labor. You're conceiving out of an idea, you're considering how it's going to be implemented. Planning is that mental load, it's the thinking, it's the planning, and then the execution is like that physical labor you can catch on a camera. That right there is it. So if you can consider the differences in these three things, you're going to be able to say to your partner, hey, can you take the mental load off me, or I can take the mental load off you. And the way that I'm constantly recommending people do it at a minimum to start, especially for guys trying to take the mental load off of their partners, it's asking a multiple choice question instead of saying, hey, what needs to go on the list? It's going into the fridge and deciding what needs to go on the list, coming up with a list, and then them looking at it. That takes off mental load. Yeah, you can go to the grocery store and pick up the list. That takes off physical, domestic, clerical labor. The emotional labor of it too is thinking ahead about what are the meal plans that you have coming up that week. Who do we need to be concerned with? Are there allergies? Are there requirements for them to be able to eat nutritiously? That is all I teach. I'm going to keep this video, I'm going to cut it off here. If you like this, I really invite you to subscribe and or share it with a friend. If this is something that you want to understand, I'm not here to shame people, but just do my best to educate. If you would like to think about working more with me, check one of the links in my bio or in the description of this video. I have free consult calls if you're interested in working with me. Look forward to seeing you again next time.